So if you think about it, the reason why a lot of, let's say, people who reach a certain height of success, like they can't, and then they lose it, right? Like they're killing it a couple months and then they just tank, right? They fall all the way down. Next thing you know is like, man, like a couple months ago, I could have sworn last year you were a top producer. Now they're towards the bottom. Like, the hell happened to you? And the reason why is because they just can't maintain the momentum, because it takes a lot of work to just get the momentum going. And it takes discipline. It takes, it takes repetitive action, right? Because it's repetition. And so when you think about all the pieces and the actions and the things that you do every single day, there are only a couple actions that actually move the needle. And when you move the needle, you start seeing progress. And when you start seeing progress, it means you got momentum. Now the key is, can you continuously repeat those actions? As we end out the year 2019 and we move into 2020, I couldn't help but think of a few things that I've learned over the last year. As a matter of fact, over the last couple years, that seems to be repetitive and it seems to be cyclical with regards to people who I mentor. And it used to be the same with me too. And I think it maybe just comes with age and it comes with experience. But one thing that is for certain is that when you learn from someone who's already been down the road that you're currently going through, you get a chance to actually get a glimpse into the future. So you get a chance, in other words, to avoid years of trial and error. But it's a choice. So it's a choice if you want to go through the trial and error yourself, which requires time, it requires commitment, discipline, and a lot of losses. You're gonna take a lot of L's if you go by it by yourself, right? As opposed to like, let's say, having a mentor or a coach or someone who's been in the industry a very long time and just having enough kind of humility, right? Like, as in a good way, to where you are open to them. And so you're willing to do things for them in exchange for insight and experience from them. Because if they knew that certain roads led to dead ends and you didn't know what those roads were, and you had a high chance of taking that same route, wouldn't you want to know where those routes are? Wouldn't you want to know how to avoid that? So anyway, the reason why I'm even covering that, why I say this, is because there's a couple important things that we are going to have a choice in going into 2020. Not only that, but what I cover in this video, I guarantee has affected you. If not recently, currently, right now it is. And so before I go into the topic, let me just remind you, my name is Daniel. I am the host of Sales Remastered. This channel can be found on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Snapchat, TikTok, wherever you are. You just simply go to the search bar, search Sales Remastered, and when you find me, do me one solid and hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that bell, and definitely please continue to comment and engage whenever you find content that's helpful. It's the least you could do, right? Anyway, what I do is I share content that really helps you not only progress as in your success, but also your income, your morale, your overall confidence, and I hopefully give you a competitive advantage when you're going into your place of business or your side hustle, or maybe even your own personal business. And the intent here is to show you that sales in itself is just a form of communication. There's this old kind of thought that sales is a grind because you're trying to push people, trying to force people to do things that they don't want to. And here I've simply remastered it, and I'm going to show you that it's actually easier than you think. You just have to have the right habits and have the right practices. And so anyway, going back to the topic, as right now, again, as we end out 2020, there's a few things that we are going to bring with us regardless. It's memories, right? Memories, experiences we're going to bring into 2020 with us. And the reason why I said that we're all going to have a choice is we're going to have a choice to allow those things to be our anchors, or we're going to have a choice to allow those things to be learning curves. Now, there's a few things that just so happen to start with R, that we have experienced and we will continue to experience. Again, as I said in the beginning, it's cyclical. It's just repetitive. It's always repetitive. But there's a difference between the successful and the mediocrity, right? The mediocre folks, the people who are kind of average or below average. And if you find yourself with these characteristics, and you might be like, but D, are you trying to say I'm average or below average? Don't be offended. But again, like I said at the very beginning, you got to have enough humility and understand and be open-minded and just kind of admit, like, I don't know you, like, right? Like, I don't know how your personal traits are. So if it resonates with you, then that's probably your own, guilty conscience saying, hey man, I am kind of guilty of that. You got to own up to that and make those changes. Again, it's a choice. But the first R that you're actually gonna experience is remorse. Remorse, because no matter what, when we go through our life, we're gonna go through certain challenges, and certain challenges we're gonna lose, or certain challenges we're just gonna miss out on, or we're not gonna step up to the plate, or we're gonna miss the opportunity, and we're gonna think luck is not on our side, or we're gonna think that fate just isn't, fate meant it just wasn't supposed to happen. And so these are things that are gonna happen throughout our life, regardless if you want to be successful or not. It's gonna happen regardless. The train's already moving. It's gonna come whether you like it or not. And through these experiences, we are going to encounter stages of remorse. And what happens when you are remorseful is you constantly look back, right? And again, it's like regret. So you constantly look back because you're like, man, I wish that didn't happen, or man, I wish would have went this way. And what happens when you build up remorse is it fosters two things. Again, that starts with R: regret and resentment, meaning you can't let it go. And instead of repent, right? Instead of feeling bad for the wrongdoings or the sins or whatever it is, right? So anything that may have been negative, you just need to reset. Again, it starts with R. Don't blame me. This just happens to be, coinky dink. But R, if you don't reset and relearn, right? You can't continuously grow. You can't actually move forward. And what I've learned, again, is through my many years of being in life and working in a competitive industry, is that the only thing that you really need in order to retain and sustain, again, R, right? Retain, like just to keep, is you need momentum. And that's one of the reasons why people have up and downs, because they cannot keep the momentum consistent, right? So if you think about it, the reason why a lot of, let's say, people who reach a certain height of success, like they can't, and then they lose it, right? Like they were killing it a couple months and then they just tank, right? They fall all the way down. Next thing you know, it's like, man, like a couple months ago, I could have sworn last year you were a top producer. Now they're towards the bottom. Like, the hell happened to you? And the reason why is because they just can't maintain the momentum, because it takes a lot of work to just get the momentum going. And it takes discipline. It takes, it takes repetitive action, right? Because it's repetition. And so when you think about all the pieces and the actions and the things that you do every single day, there are only a couple actions that actually move the needle. And when you move the needle, you start seeing progress. And when you start seeing progress, it means you got momentum. Now the key is, can you continuously repeat those actions? But why most society actually falls back and loses their momentum is because they get comfortable, right? They retreat. Get it? Another R, bro. So and because they retreat, they actually they fall into remorse because they no longer are feeling that success. Or maybe they feel like, oh well, it just wasn't meant to be, or the market's changing, or man, it's the leads, it's management, there's plots against me. Like, no, it's not, boo-boo. You just gotta be self-aware enough to really understand that it was your choice. It was your choice to first take action just to even see a glimpse of success. And the second that you thought that success was there, you felt entitled. And because you felt entitled, you kind of just waited for it to continue coming. Little did you know the actions that got you there, once you stopped it, it took you away from there. And because it took you away from there, you're no longer feeling it, you're no longer seeing it, and now you kind of have this resentment because the remorse allowed you to regret, and instead of reset and repeat the actions that actually allowed you to even reach the destination that you wanted to get to, right? Instead of actually trying to reset, relearn, and repeat the actions that got you to where you want to go, you chose to hold on to the losses. You chose to let that anchor yourself. And this is gonna apply to you, man. So smash that like button if you can own it and just say, yeah, man, that's true, man. You know, there are things that I don't let go. My pride and my ego is too strong. Well, don't allow it to be so strong that it's the reason why you don't grow. You know, there are a lot of challenges that I faced in my life, and I had to literally reset. Like, who you see right now is not who I used to be. For those of you who know me for going way back, I'm a completely different person because I allowed myself to reset. But there were years that I went through resentment, I went through remorse, I went through regret. And the only person who's worried about it was me. And I don't want you to fall into that pit hole, because that brings you to a darker place. And what happens is it stagnates your growth. It keeps you still. And again, what did I say? In order to even retain and sustain or even obtain progress, right? Like happiness, like the success, and even to get on track and stay on track, you need momentum. And when you're not moving forward and you're just sitting still, what does that do? You're stagnated, right? It's like stagnation, stagnant water. What happens with stagnant water? It builds mold, it dies, right? It's just bacteria and death. And so you don't want to sit still. You don't want to allow the past defeats, because in 2019 there were some things that you missed out on. There's probably there are times where you could have went a little bit harder, right? And if you're in sales and the market changes and you have that fear, like, oh, but man, did I miss the opportunity to really capitalize? Now the market's gonna change. Oh man, should I get out and go do something new? No, stay the course, stay on track, and just refine your skills. Again, reset. Like, reset, don't regret. You know what I mean? Otherwise, you're just gonna look back and you're just gonna have a bunch of remorse and you're never really gonna move forward. So I hope that this message, you know, it helps you. Because in 2020, we have an opportunity to reset. We have an opportunity to recharge. We have an opportunity to relearn and repeat certain actions, not the actions that left you in a position of regret, not actions that actually held you back or stagnated you. I'm talking about reset, repeat, and relearn certain actions that are going to move the needle. So regardless of the losses you had in 2019, regardless of the opportunities that you missed or that you slept on, right now is an opportunity to really rebuild yourself. Capture the moment, right? Go, because 2020 is going to happen whether you like it or not. Like I said in the beginning, the train is moving. It's coming regardless. And what's going to happen is, next thing you know, it's going to be 2021. And you're going to look back and you'll be like, damn, man, fuck, what did I do in 2020? You're going to face yourself in a year from now. You're going to look back and you're either going to regret or you're going to celebrate the choices that you made. And so on that note, you have a choice right now to reset, relearn, and rebuild. A very useful way, just like I was mentioning in the very beginning, is finding a mentor, someone who's experienced, someone who's gone down the path that you're currently starting or you're currently on, and has not only gone through that path, but it's the same exact path. And so the language is your language, right? Like, it's not like you're learning geometry from someone who doesn't know math, right? But they're smart, like they're book smart. No, right? Like, it's got to be within your field. I happen to do that. So if you're in sales, in real estate, you're a mortgage loan originator, whether you're a broker or you're outside or inside, or you're a beginner or you're a veteran, man, you need a mentor, a coach to keep you grounded, to hold you accountable, to reset and relearn certain techniques in sales that apply today. And I want to be able to extend my experience to you. I have a course that I call the Sales Boost Camp. Not only will I open up all of my programs to you, but I'm going to dedicate hours with you directly, personally, where I mentor you to talk about your specific challenges. You bring up the topics, you ask the questions, you make it compatible to your current platform. So whatever challenge that you're facing, I talk to you and show you how to actually properly rebuild and reset and relearn the proper techniques and the ways. And you might be like, yo, but Daniel, how do I know that you're the right person, D? Well, I'm the right person because this is my language. This is what I do. And if you like to get an understanding of who I am, maybe this is the first time you're watching my content, go learn about me. Go to salesremastered.com. While you're there, I got a gift for you. It's a free sales script, and you're gonna see how powerful just those techniques are. Imagine how much the paid content is, boo-boo. It's gonna be pretty strong, and it's gonna get you to the next level that you wanna be, so that you don't look back in 2021 at 2020 trying to think like, man, how come I didn't take action? Why didn't I step up to the plate? Why didn't I capture the moment and actually invest into myself? Because there are things that I needed to relearn, or I needed to reset, restart, and rebuild. And when 2021 happens, what I know for certain are those that I'm mentoring right now are not going to look back with regret. You know what they're going to look back on? They're going to look back on in celebration, because it was those actions that moved the needle and completely changed their lives. I appreciate your attention. I hope this video has helped you. Please comment below what your favorite takeaway was, and let me know what your feedback is. Let me know what your input is. Not only that, but share this video with someone who you know needs to see it. Each one teach one. Share it, right? And smash that like button. It helps me with the engagement and get on the recommended page, and also grow the channel, grow the awareness, and grow the community. So I appreciate your time. I'll see you on the next one. Again, the website is salesremastered.com. Go learn about me, and I'll see you there. Bye.